Executive Conference, Tuesday, May 14th, order. On the agenda is old business, I know of none. We're out action items, adult road court, or veterans treatment court, consider grant program, very area.
Morning. Grant. This is a grant that the drug court wants to apply for. It's June 1st. I brought this to your attention because they wanted to ask for a court services officer as a part of the grant, so they could be dedicated for the veterans court, drug court, and mental health court programs. That amount would be close to $70,000. It's a 3-year grant with a possible extension. So I'll bring it to your attention, get your support, and so we can move forward with the application process, including an officer position for court services. If they did get the grant, I would have to go to the budget board and ask for the funds to be able to pay the person monthly and then get reimbursed for those funds.
Grant reimburse you.
Correct. Correct. Full percent. So this is just actually to get your support. Talk to Mr. Willis about it, and he suggested I come in front of you and get your support for this moving forward.
That's why I more or less the case of get the grant.
Yes.
More action required by the BOCC.
No, sir.
Okay. I appreciate the heads up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Only Terry could be so short.
You didn't hear that. It went right over your head.
That's just wrong.
Follow along. Just so you can have an updated report. So let's start with the reimbursement requests. Think of those as like liability on our fund. Through April, just within the county, there was $410,000 of reimbursement requests that have been loaded in by the bookie. But probably half of them haven't loaded anything in yet. I emailed all 17 bookkeepers and said, if you had come from 0, 25, 50, 75, and 100%, how much have you done? And half of them said 0 and 25%. In addition to that, I know from talking to Reggie Guy at the health department, he has $250,000. So we know it's March and April. We know we have $661,000 of potential reimbursements there. Then if you pivot to the cities and the list of stuff that we've gotten from the cities, of the 11 cities, we've gotten lists, I assume they're complete, from 4 of the 11 cities. And those 4 total about $1 million. So my guesstimate is going to be that by the time the dust all settles, we might be looking at $2.5 million of reimbursables with us and with the cities, unless there's some big surprise out there. We've got the big one in the city of Tulsa, but we got a banking program. All the city managers have been sent a package to do that, so we're just waiting for it. So I just wanted you to know that it could be about 2.5.
There's what 4 cities have submitted.
Tulsa, Sperry, Sand Springs, and Phoenix. You know, everybody's been sent a packet to do it. So that's one of the ones I had. And that was $919,000. Those 4. I don't know if I was going through it, if that includes labor, overtime, or if that's just supplies, equipment, and materials. There was some talk amongst me or some of you.
Some of them have labor overtime.
We'll be sending out a list later today that has a breakout of the expenses with and without overtime.
So I'll just keep updating you on that. The review committee met yesterday. We had 9 requests, $30,600,000. 6 of the 9 were approved or recommended. 2 from TMA, 1 from IT, 1 from courts, 1 from HR, 1 from building ops, for a total of $262,175. I think what's significant about this is for people that are going to submit this, that the review committee is just not a rubber stamp. If it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass. That's, you got to clear the hurdle. That's what they're there for, reviews. To make the dots connect, this is code related. And they actually, if you approve those on Monday, in addition to what you did this past Monday, you will have spent, I don't know, 2.4 million, 114 million. That's much what we'll spend. Not much. That's what will have been spent by then. I think you know, about 3 weeks ago, I got a call from Senator Langford's office telling me that he was going to a meeting with the Treasury Department and did I have any questions. And I sent him the affidavit that I had prepared that I wanted to go to the sub-grantee to try to protect the liability exposure of the county in the event that the sub-grantee has spent the money on ineligible expenses. And that was kind of what's in the affidavit. It was in the affidavit. Last night, about 7 o'clock, I get a call from Derek Osborne, and he tells me that Langford did meet yesterday with the Secretary of Commission. He did have the affidavit. He did bring it up and ask him. And his short answer was, well, normally a recipient is responsible for the behavior of a subrecipient. If you have an affidavit or an agreement like this, you can't protect yourself.
Can.
Can. Good. You can do it. This came from the Secretary of the Treasury.
We have that right.
Yeah, that right here.
Close your part.
Yeah, that right here. So the spirit and intent of the affidavit looks like the highest level you can get. So that's what's going to be out. I just got last night a copy of a proposal from Rose Washington for business support, and yesterday afternoon we got a copy of a proposal from United Way. So everybody's kind of running on course. Rose is pretty broad. I mean, it's called Tulsa County Resources to Empower Small Enterprises for Tomorrow. Tulsa County Reset. That's what she's calling the program. Target sole proprietorship, independent contractors, self-employed, and small businesses. Loans would range from $10,000 to $100,000, depending on the size of the company. They would like to start with an initial investment of $25 million. They will create 4 funds, depending on the size of the company. If a business does not follow the requirements, essentially what's a grant, it then becomes a loan. It's amortized over 5 years at 3%. So either you follow the rules and do what they're saying, which isn't just run your business, but they're also going to make sure that you run a better business. You're better prepared to do this back. But I'll finish reading through that. United Way, Commissioner Peters and I talked with Allison Anthony, and they've got a proposal that they'd be willing to help assess or screen. I think you saw I sent to you the 211 report, which is kind of an assessment of, so where has the most need been in the last 2 months? Pretty clear where it is food, meals, healthcare. And they went through the Treasury guidance, tried to match up need with eligibility with agency. But then, of course, you can decide. You can say, well, I'm for Meals on Wheels. Well, I'm going to say, I want to see more work on evictions. You could say, if you don't fund daycare, people can't go back to work. You can still pick what you want to pick that you think is the most bang out. So, any questions?
No, so on the roads, when does that program want to kick in? When do you think we'll have the first approvals?
Well, it's pretty soon, probably next week.
Well, we have to agree to utilize her services first. So
Okay.
Right. Her fee is 7%. United Way is 5 to 7%, I believe. What I'm also going to send you is, I went to each of you and asked you if you had money left. What would you do with the money left? Either 3 buckets, ask you to put a percentage of each bucket. So I now have a little better feeling of how much money is going to be left. And you see how your number applies to the money, you're going to want to change it. I think you're going to see that you probably are not going to have $10 million of reimbursables to the cities. But that's kind of how some of the numbers fall. They're probably going to have a whole lot less. You'll have more for the other kind of buckets to look at. So I'll show you kind of how that's. The other thing is also to consider.
To address Mr. Keith's question, I assume there are people who look at the contract on roads next Tuesday. It's approved, put it on the BOCC agenda for a week Monday. Okay.
I've asked them for an application. Hers is a kind of a standard bank on application. So you got to add some COVID-19 questions in there as well.
Yeah, we probably need to get the contracts to the DAs first and let them look at it.
We don't have any contracts.
The proposals, and Rose, I've got hers, and United Ways need to be sent as well. And let DA's office look at them, see if they've got any suggestions or changes in it. And then I don't know that we wait another week. I mean, if we're in agreement and we want to expedite this and everyone's able.
Well, I think that's the key if you're in agreement.
Yeah.
When I send you the sheet that
I'm just saying, let's move forward if we can agree to
absolutely
the proposals, and if we need to do a special meeting or whatever to expedite it and get it out to the public on what we're going to do, and let's move forward. Every day is important to these businesses.
That's right. I think she's ready. I got it last night, so we'll get it back up. Talk to you guys.
Yep. Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Terry.
Hey,
I'd just like to comment on, there's a doctrine called there's no estoppel against the government, which means that a government official cannot contradict the law. So the sheriff can't tell someone, no, it's okay, go ahead and speed. You know, and the county commissioner can't say, no, go ahead, you don't need a purchase order. In the end, the law is what the law is. So regardless of the conversation or any statements, the law is going to govern. I would still recommend the indemnification agreement that you're talking about, but I don't think in the end that the secretary's words are going to matter.
you got an agreement to look at for us?
Yes, I think we're making some tweaks to it and we'll send it back.
Perfect. Okay, make an official statement, open the courthouse to the public, Mr. Sawyer.
Well, I want to thank many of you in here for participating and your suggestions, and the sheriff's department, our association, everybody. Monday, we will be requiring all employees and the public to wear masks entering the building. Once you get to your work areas, that's up to your supervisors and your departments, whether you safe to carry on without a mask. And the court system is going to have a tent out on the east side or on the north side of the plaza, stopping and checking who has court dates and trying to funnel them in the right direction, trying to also limit the amount of people that come into the building. We're going to have some issues at our elevators. We know the sheriff's department will have deputies throughout the building, pretty much on every floor by the elevators, and just traffic control and making sure we're adhering to 3 or 4 people or less as possible, but up to 4 people per elevator. And hand sanitizers, Ronnie's been doing a great job in getting them located and placed, and sanitizing the stairwells and doing all the things that we can possibly do. The general public, for all other businesses besides the courts, going to have signage outside directing them to the east side of the entrance on Denver. And so legal attorneys can really enter on the either side, but we're hoping to funnel as many on that side so they can utilize the escalators for this building as much as possible, keep them away from the other north bank elevators, just to shuffle as many people over here as we can, and utilize both elevator systems. And we'll have it on the BOCC for Monday morning on the masks and all the requirements for that. But Mike and Carrie's been working on this as well. And the other thing we're missing here, I mean, just, masks will be provided for those that don't have one. And Ronnie, how many masks do we have? Do we have one?
We want to do the mass pickup today. It's
Okay.
at 10 o'clock, so we want to, I want to pick them up. We'll have quite a few though.
So we'll have them on the north two entrances and the Denver entrance for those that don't. If you have your own mask, try to bring it. And
All the division directors have masks, Ronnie. All the division directors have masks in their employees.
That's it.
very simple. For 2 weeks, we're going to see where this goes for 2 weeks, as our judge report, the court system says, and might be able to relax all of this if we do a great job. Where we're probably going to have stuff on the direction on the floors of the elevator where lines can be generated, and try to have some resemblance of organization and getting on and off the elevator. I mean, I don't know how it's going to work, but we're going to do our best.
Yeah.
And this is also per Doug Dart. We had Dr. Dart here, and he was hopeful we would request masks. And I want to thank Doug Wilson as well for initiating this, coming to our offices and getting this kick started and getting us in the right direction. Thank you, Doug. I appreciate that. So that's all I have. If there's any questions.
I just appreciate you jumping on that and yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, do our best.
Or you heard that?
No, but I was always the first.
Read the updated report back to you on that.
So, it's Q3-ish, because I threw in April, because a lot has still happened in April. So I did a PowerPoint to add a little levity to this, because it's been really busy and really serious and really crazy. So, today it's, as you can see here, March and April was a little bit busy. Technically, April's not in Q3, but like I said, I threw it in because we've done a lot. We did 41 press releases in those 2 months alone. There's only 40 working days, so that's more than one a day. And most of them were related to COVID, to be expected, but we did have a couple about the levies, a couple engineering guys out there. We did 17 press conferences over those 2 months. So Commissioner Keith and I worked a lot on those together. She's done a great job being our face for the county in those. Obviously, substantial media coverage, which I didn't include in any of my reports to you internally because it's so much that I just can't even keep track of it at the time when this started to kind of blow up in March and when we kind of shut down the courthouse. I probably got 5 to 10 media calls a day asking, what are we doing, what are we not doing? So just, it was physically impossible to keep track of that much. But, I mean, it's worked in our benefit that I think more people are looking to us for information and what we're doing and how we're leading these efforts. In addition to just the standard press releases and all the other stuff we did, we got pulled into some public service announcements with BOCC. So it was the city, the health department, and us. We did one on social distancing, and we also did one on scams, since those are pretty prevalent. I've seen them run on a few Cox channels, but not a ton. But that may just be because I'm not seeing them. We also did a bunch of internal and employee communications related to all of this. The CARES funding application page is up. We've got a lot of social distancing signage in the courthouse. before we reopened. Before we even closed, we had a lot of communications to answer employee questions about how we're sanitizing the building, what precautions are we taking, all that kind of stuff. And then HR had a ton of communications going out as well. In terms of our website hits during March and April, we created a new web page for all our press releases as a centralized location for them related to COVID. That went live on, I think, March 17th. And when I pulled these stats last week, we had 3,529 page views in that month-ish. So, I mean, we're getting a lot of interest out of that, and I think we're doing a good job spreading the information. We also revamped the main contact page on Tulsa County because I realized that half our offices weren't listed. And so if we're telling people to call or email our offices first and we're not giving that information out easily, it's a problem. So we revamped that page and also highlighted it up in our COVID-19 bar. The next slide is actually this week. I wish it would have happened a lot sooner. Facebook has added a tag that you can tag your post that you're sharing COVID-19 updates. Would have been nice if this was around 6-7 weeks ago, but it's around now. So the update I shared yesterday about the directions for Monday, I was able to tag as a COVID-19 update so people understand that it's important and that they pay attention to it. And we've gotten much more traction out of that with that tag now. So I think it'll go well for us. So I thought maybe we could talk about something non-COVID related, since that's all we've talked about and all we've worried about, because there still is other communications that have to happen about the county besides the impacts of this virus on our operations. We made a couple improvements to each of you have a page on the website. I kind of made the executive decision to add a news release section to each of your web pages where pertinent news releases will be housed on those pages as well. So it's a place that people, if they're looking for information about District 1, they can find those press releases.
District related.
Yeah, district related. Open enrollment, Kathy, like it was a huge effort. You know, we helped a lot with that. Benefits, all that stuff is going on at the same time. We still have a new building we're working on that we're updating people about. We also were planning on having the career fair and the free local prevention event with the DA. So a lot of collateral was made, a lot of event stuff was scheduled. That's kind of all been pulled back and will be reevaluated at some point on when we're going to be able to do those. But you know, the good news is we have a lot of the pre-work done, so we can, you know, pull the trigger pretty quickly. And then Alex has really stepped up his efforts to promote the work that engineering is doing, both on social media and through formal press releases. And so I think we've gotten a lot of good play out of that as well. You know, people like roads, they want to know more about roads. So the more we talk about it, the better, whether we like it or not.
Having lots of personal interactions with our constituents.
And I'm letting him do that. So now, like, I'll just dig in really quickly to the super high level stuff on actual Q3, like January through March. We had 352 social posts across all our platforms for those 3 months. And we had over 334,000 impressions. So an impression is the number of times your content appears on someone's screen. So that's significant. Most of it is March because of COVID, but it's still a significant increase on what we've seen. But we also had, you know, 1.5 times more posts, so it's kind of an easy correlation to make. The other things that I think are interesting about our Q3 stats are we continue to maintain this 80-20 new versus returning users, and that might be a good thing. If our website is meant to be task-oriented and people get in, get out, get what they need, then that's great. We don't want them returning, because if they're returning, they're not finding the information they want. But if we want our website to serve a different purpose and be more of a place for an information repository or, you know, interacting with our site, then that tells me that that's not meeting the need. So we just have to decide how we want it to work and what the need is. People continue to access the site using a mobile device more than any other desktop, tablet, anything like that. So, our site is designed to be responsive and mobile friendly, so that's good. And then in terms of the the intranet, we still kind of have an engagement issue with the intranet. People either are in and out real quick, or they focus on a specific area and then they head out. There's not a lot of engagement, there's not a lot of time spent on it, but again, I think that depends on what our purpose is for it. So we can evaluate that. So basically, what I'm getting to is, what does it all mean? Big deal. We have these stats, we have these impressions, we have these numbers. And since I've been here, I ran this baseline report when I started, so we had something to compare ourselves to. We've kind of been looking at this quarterly, and we're starting to see some real trends come out that I think can help direct our strategy, especially in terms of social media. What we've seen really, and really with this COVID-19 epidemic, is that our audiences do like a mix of content, but it's significant that Instagram is not a great place to share quick hit, timely information. It's more of a creative platform. You have to have a photo in order to post anything. And, oftentimes during these 6 or 8 weeks where we've had so much information coming out, there's no time to cull through images on Google and find one that has, a good contextual reference to whatever you're posting. So it just didn't get used. And I think that's okay, because that helps us see, like, maybe we don't need to post everything on Instagram. Maybe we use that more for our humanizing the county stories, right? Whereas Twitter, we've gotten a lot more traction related to operations and less related to our humanizing the county. So even when in February we had a closure for 2 hours for snow delay, we got way more traction out of that than sharing somebody got an award or something else. So that kind of is helping me see some trends too on which platforms to appropriately use, how and when, for what kind of content. Facebook's our powerhouse, obviously. It's going to remain our go-to for releasing any kind of content on any topic, because that's where the majority of our users are. And I think the other two just kind of help us as a backup in case people aren't seeing it. But I mean, Facebook, if we didn't have the other two, we'd still be on. That's how we get our information out. And I already kind of briefly mentioned, looking at our website trends and kind of sitting down and deciding, next steps on that. Where do we want our website to be? Where do we want our intranet to be? We could do some interesting usability testing and potentially some heat mapping to see where users are clicking and where they're going to help us decide if we need to change it or not. So I think that's my update. Oh, and the media knows my name, I think, now after 49 press releases or whatever. So
Well done.
Thank you. I get Devin at least, so.
I do have one observation and want to ask the board, moving forward, as we start to unroll this CARES Act and start funding different organizations, I personally think it's critical for the committee, Michael Willis, the chief deputies, Terry, as well, Vicki and Carrie, to make sure that communications, when it goes out, that we funnel that through our communications department. Doesn't mean that chief deputies might have a role, or Terry or Michael or the chair, obviously. But I think we need to have one voice to make sure it's crystal clear when we're talking about dollars going out to organizations and public. So I just, everybody can speak well for the county and what we're trying to do here, but I think it's important that it goes through our communication and then decide there where it goes.
I think the key is that the businesses in Scottsdale that were helping, or nonprofits in Scottsdale, were to go out to just 1 through year.
Well, yeah. Just, at least have that discussion and understanding of where we want to go and who gives that message and really what that message is these things. Okay, just, and I know Alex has utilized that quite a bit, and I appreciate that, because, you know, it's professionally and, you know, share those to my site and to the public, and, you know, more information we give the public, they enjoy it, they like it, you know, and that's where you hear all the bad stuff, you know, and what we need to do.
Yeah,
Well,
nobody's
the
always
truth
like,
is, a lot
you're doing a
of
great
it's
job.
misinformation. I mean, they
Yep.
say, oh, you're never gonna work on Wakai Road, for example, and you say, well, actually, you're starting to do first. And that kind of shuts them down pretty quick, and, you know, that's our fault as a department for not getting that information out there better, so we're, and Devin's been critical in doing that, so, we appreciate it. Okay.
Design 3E Interior Department update.
Okay, I got volunteered to work on the headquarters building striping, which sounds like a simple activity, but like most things, it just turned into quite a little nest of issues. What you have is this 11 by 17 sheets. Is the top sheet is a summary of all the employees and who's parking vehicles, and if they drive a county vehicle, if they need a handicap if they have a handicap placard, needs a dedicated space. And so this was the summary that I was given by my building ops. We tweaked it, modified it some, and we worked. The next 4 sheets are the actual striping layouts from our consultant that worked on it. So in doing this, some questions popped up, and the single sheet you have has those questions. So the overall summary is we have 438 parking spots in the garage that are available for use for whoever we need to use them. Of those, 322 will be taken up by departments that are moving to the headquarters building. And I say that very carefully because there's a discussion point later that will highlight that a little bit. That leaves us 116 rank and file parking spots that are available for some purpose. We have 2 vacant floors at the headquarters building that there's been some discussions about subleasing those to other tenants. And so that begs the question, what are we going to do with these 116 spots? The fully staffed column on our summary sheet here, I believe, accounts for very, very short-term capacity needs. In other words, you have an open position, you just haven't filled yet. You know, that was listed. But I don't believe it fully encapsulates any potential long-term growth from any of the departments. Now, speaking for me and my department's not going to grow significantly, so this isn't an issue for me. And maybe other county departments aren't either. But I think that's something we may want to take a look at to make sure that that fully staffed number accounts for any growth we might see before we allot those spots to someone else.
And one thought on that too is, will all the departments go back to having every staff member work, or will we end up with some remote workers?
That's a fair point. So,
You're asking me?
I'm just looking at you. As an example, I don't know.
We still have a couple people that are working remotely for social distance reasons, because we have some groups that are kind of stacked on top of each other and we wanted to create a little extra space. But I mean, it's a possibility for the county clerk's office, but we're probably a little bit unique.
So that issue, so just removed, so I draft up a little.
Yeah, I mean, in the same 2 areas where we have people, where we have a person or 2 here and there working from home, we'll be making probably some changes to our layout or our employee count or whatever to combat that over the new facility.
well, and those type of questions don't need to be answered in terms of us striping it. We're going to get out and get quotes to get it striped. It's more of when we start assigning spots later. So a lot of these questions don't need to get answered today. I'm just asking them because as I was thinking through it and talking to people, these came up and I was like, well, I don't have to answer that. So the other question regarding the spare spots, if I can call them that, is currently there's a lot of people parking in the headquarters garage that will work in the headquarters building, and there's some people parking there that will not work in the headquarters building. So the question is, and it is cheaper than some other options. So the question is going to become, if your long-term place of employment is going to be the courthouse, are you going to have the option of securing one of those spots over there? Yes or no? We're going to have to know that at some point, because that takes off of these spare 116 and would be less than we could give to a potential subtenant or whatever other use we may have. So food for thought there. Are we going to reserve spots for potential sublease tenants? And then I didn't put it, but the question is, who's going to manage the assignment of that if we choose to go that? Is that going to be building ops? I'm assuming building ops will assign our spots, but if we allot 100 of these to subtenants, are we simply going to bulk give them to them and let them assign them, or are we going to manage that? Because there's going to be some enforcement issues down the road. And so another question that will need to be answered at some point. So as I go to parking lot management, who signs the spots? We've had conversations. I think the assumption is building ops. They don't seem to have a huge issue with that, but I will let Ronnie speak on behalf of that. Because right now that building, for those people who park over there's a wild, wild west. There are numbers on the spots. There are numbers on your placards, but people are just parking all over the place. So that doesn't happen below, and it will not happen over there in the future, but there's going to be some enforcement issues. And if it's on county employees, that's one thing. If it's on a tenant, that gets a little more complex. If you look at the floor plans, I got these from the consultant, then I color coded them for this presentation, and quite frankly, just for my own clarity. The orange spots, if I can call them that, are what I'm calling north and south. Excuse me, I'm calling them the east and west spots because they're the east and west boundaries of the garage, and then the interior ones. Those are all 8.5 foot wide. We discussed widening those to 9 foot, but the building structure simply won't allow it. The columns are placed in such a way that if you widen them to 9, you're going to have people parking their cars in front of columns that's going to stick their cars out into the driveway. So everything that's in orange is going to be striped for 8.5 foot, which is about the minimum we want. It's still a little bit tight. But there's really not an option to widen those beyond that. The purple or lavender color are the end spots that are going to be 9 foot wide. A, the structure allows for it, and B, we do have some people who are going to ride vehicles. If you're driving a full-size pickup truck or an SUV, you almost won't be able to get out in an 8.5 foot spot. You will need those wider spots. That's going to be another potential enforcement issue. You're going to have people that want a wider spot even though they drive a Honda Accord. That's going to be, that's going to be a problem. So we need to, I know building ops is working on it. We're going to have to specifically address this issue in the building and the parking guidelines and make sure that people understand. If you say you're driving a wide vehicle and we give you one of the wider spots and you start driving your Honda Accord every day, that's going to be a problem. The structure allowed, not that we have this many motorcycles, but just because of the nature of the structure, it allowed us to have some blue motorcycle parking, even bicycle parking potentially. I think that's handy. Maybe we could put some racks where people could put bikes and pass them, but the structure lended itself to that. The green spots are handicapped. I didn't delineate whether they were van accessible or the striping does, but I just greened all the handicap locations. So, we have enough, if you look at the summary, we have enough to handle all of our current handicap placard people that are going to be moving to that structure and with some spare potentially for a tenant. If you look at the last page, it's the exterior, well, it's not just exterior, it's the oddball parking. It doesn't show it, but there's 3 gates located out there. all the yellow spots are what I'm calling alley spots. They're not covered by any sort of the structure. They are behind gates. You would have to have a swipe card to get through to park in those. And that they are adequate, if you look at the summary, for parking all of our county vehicles. So whether that's building ops, whether it's my team, whomever, if you have a county vehicle, you would park it there. There's also a spare amount of spots there, I think it's 10, that's over and above the ones that would normally be here. I would assume we would probably use those for county employees who are visiting for other departments. So Parks is having some people come, I've had my superintendents come up or something that can park there. Clearly that on certain days that may not be enough. The good news is the city of Tulsa will not ticket you if you're in a county marked vehicle if you park in those little meter spots. So, at that point, it'll just be do your best. But I think, it's my recommendation based on what we're doing here to leave those as county vehicle parking. Most of them assigned and 10 of them spared for me.
Do we have any electric, are we standing up any electric cars? Did INCOG have a grant for us for that?
Talk about it. But we haven't.
We do need to think about that too.
Okay, we'll take that as the next little discussion.
It'd be nice to look at for employees.
And so parking rates, there was a discussion of the fourth floor potentially having that as a discounted parking area due to the fact it would not be covered due to weather or, be hot and cold and all that sort of stuff. Something to discuss. There's been some, and this is really my department, I put it on here, I'm not shy about saying, there's some of us who drive county vehicles home. And historically, those people who were parking those downstairs were required to pay a parking charge, even though they were driving a county vehicle. I can see it both ways. So the question would be, for those of us who drive county vehicles and drive them home, are we going to be charged to park in the alley? And if so, how much? I think that needs to go into the parking guidelines just so we know once and for all what that would be. If you drive a county vehicle, but you drive your personal vehicle to get here and then drive a county vehicle to arrive, that's a little bit different scenario. I would assume those vehicles don't be charged at all. But it's those of us who drive them home. I think it just needs to be clarified. Visitor parking. This is probably the one that's come up here at the end of the discussion. Well, the blue ones are the ones that are at the bottom of the building. They're for the elected officials. The summary shows that we have some spare there, but honestly, those are so tight. I don't know that you would want to assign any of those spare spots down there to anybody because that parking structure underneath there is going to be a little tight getting in there. So, but that's the blue area. The pink area is the visitor parking, and this is a potential really big can of worms. The yellow and the blue are protected by gates. You would have to swipe a card to get through. The pink area is wide open. So it begs the question, are those going to be intended for county visitors only? Are they going to be intended for headquarters county visitors only? All right. Who is going to monitor that? There's no gate. So, and the visitors who are going to park there are going to walk all the way around the building to come to the north side door. So if you're a parking lot monitor and someone says, yeah, I'm here to visit the county, and you say, okay, park, and they walk around, you don't know where they're going. They could be visiting someone at the White-Loss over here. They could be going to to the restaurant or whatever. So I don't know if we have thought about who's going to be managing that parking lot. That's going to be a sheriff's deputy there, or
We had this at one point, and it was the sheriff, and then they, with the whole building security, they changed their mind. So I don't know if they're on the private security, or they want to plan on, and we looked at putting in meters.
oh, actual meter
So
meters.
it'll be a meter parking lot. So that's some of the things we discussed. I had discussions with people about Cause we looked up the prices for those meters that you can do, on your phone, you know, like the city has.
Yeah,
And even though, cause we don't really have any, nowhere around here is free visitor parking. And so, we have discussed that and looked into it.
okay.
Good.
Well, we're gonna have to come up with some sort of plan, because I can see those being eaten up very quickly, and then the commissioners have a visitor coming, you have no place to put them, they're parking on the street, so.
John's good.
We also discussed about doing it just like the library, where you get a ticket and get an hour free, and then after that hour, you're paying for it, or you could, get a stamp inside or something like that.
Well, that would require putting a guard there,
No, an automatic door. You get one coming in, you get a ticket.
and you literally can't get out unless you either pay
You
or.
take it back in,
Okay.
it says if you've been here less than an hour, it opens up for free, if you've been here an hour and 5 minutes, you pay $1 for the 5 minutes.
The only issue we have with the meters is the way that the layout is, there's not an exit and an entrance, which you almost need for.
Yeah, it's just one common entrance,
It's
right?
one common entrance, so you can't really have it, that's the problem with the situation we have with that meter system. You know what I mean? You get somebody waiting to come in, somebody trying to get out.
We might be able to do some reconfiguration of that, but that would cost some bucks to do concrete work behind the gates and
So that
equipment and so
might be,
forth, so.
but that's further discussion.
So I come to you with a lot of questions and not many answers. Because it's, kind of how I roll, but, so I offer this as a discussion point, and then I would like to reconvene with you either individually or as a group. So what I'll do is I'll reach out to you individually, and then maybe the future management conference, we can come back and make some decisions based on.
Well, I'd like to meet you over there and just kind of.
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah, we can do that, so. Anyway, does anyone have any questions about what I presented here? Yes, sir.
So on the area in yellow, for the county vehicles,
Yes, sir.
have we looked at it, or would it even be possible to create at least part of that as a covered area?
You certainly could put, like
Canopies
canopies or something over there.
I know every department's a little bit different. We have a vehicle that we use for lots of different things, and it's in use pretty much every day, but it's still gonna be sitting out there a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You get sun damage,
Hail damage,
all that kind of stuff. I didn't know if we looked at potential for covering.
I can get some pricing along that and see what.
Thanks.
Sure. I wouldn't mind having mine covered up.
No, so I was just curious, not knowing anything about the structure of that parking, but, in the future, if you need additional space, and I know how expensive to build additional parking, but is that structure, could it support another level?
I have no idea, but I can find out.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I don't know.
It's
If that ever was looked at, go up.
Well, we were talking about, I'm sorry, squirrel, but in terms of the fourth floor, if we were concerned about covering, we could certainly look at awnings or canopies up there as well.
Yeah.
If that's
Yeah, because that was one of the previous problems with, when St. John had it, they didn't use the fourth floor in the winter, because it's almost impossible to get up the ramp. So that's something we've been looking at, getting ready to fight, because if we assign people to the fourth floor, we're gonna have to make it possible for them to get up there.
Yeah.
So that's an expense that we'll have to incur, so we can look at maybe covering up the fourth floor, while we're covering up the alley, or going up the floor.
Yeah, you bet.
Good, Chief.
For no new business.
Good job, Adam.
Good job.
Second.
Everybody say aye.
Aye.